Tonight, an American hero laid to rest, a soaring tribute to Senator John McCain. As mourners pay their final respects, close friend Lindsey Graham defends Meghan McCain against attacks on her pointed eulogy.
If you say something bad about her dad, you will know it.
And what Senator Graham is saying about that surprise appearance by Jared and Ivanka. A grieving dad's plea, the father of Molly Tibbetts, and his frank message to those using his daughter's murder for political gain. The embattled Archbishop of Washington confronted during a speech a worshiper yelling, "Shame on you." The latest turn in the sex abuse scandal dividing the Catholic Church. The longest layover, a man stuck at the airport for nearly 6 months with nowhere to go inside his unusual ordeal. And serving up smiles, some young tennis players get the opportunity of a lifetime.
This is NBC Nightly News with Kate Snow.
Good evening. After days of public mourning, from Arizona to the U.S. Capitol to the National Cathedral, today John McCain's close family and friends said their final goodbyes in the most private setting. In the sky over the U.S. Naval Academy, Navy pilots flew in salute. It was a contrast with yesterday's nationally televised memorial service, which featured 2 former presidents and an emotional tribute by Meghan McCain, whose eulogy today provoked strong reactions for seeming to take aim at President Trump. We begin tonight with Jeff Bennett.
Final honors for an American original. The late Senator John McCain laid to rest where his life of service began. The U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. An aerial salute by Navy fighters in missing man formation. Today's private ceremony capping a 5-day national mourning. A week of emotional tributes to a man who rose above bitter partisanship.
We gather here to mourn the passing of American greatness. The real thing, not cheap rhetoric from men who will never come near the sacrifice he gave so willingly.
Senator Lindsey Graham, a McCain family friend, today defending Meghan's remarks, widely seen as a pointed rebuke of the president and his hostility toward her father.
If you say something bad about her dad, you will know it. Whether you're the janitor or the president of the United States.
At the Naval Academy Cemetery, McCain now resting alongside his best friend from the class of '58, Admiral Chuck Larson.
I want to watch the hawks hunt from the sycamore, and then take my leave, bound for a place near my old friend Chuck Larson, in the cemetery on the Severn, back where it began.
Larson reserved 4 plots before he died, for himself and McCain, and for their wives. John McCain, remembered as a fierce but forgiving political fighter and unyielding advocate for American values.
We have nothing to fear from each other. We are arguing over the means to better secure our freedom and support the general welfare. But it should remain an argument among friends who share an unshaken belief that in our great cause and in the goodness of each other, we are Americans first, Americans last, and Americans always.
Tonight, the flag at the White House will fly at full staff again now that Senator McCain has been laid to rest. And we're learning just what accounted for Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner's presence at Saturday's memorial service. Senator Lindsey Graham facilitated the invitation with Cindy McCain's blessing. Kate?
Jeff, thank you very much. Far from Washington tonight, another call for unity amidst grief. Ron Tibbetts, father of Iowa College student Molly Tibbetts, who was allegedly murdered by an undocumented immigrant, is pleading with politicians not to exploit his daughter's death for their own agenda. Our Matt Bradley has those details.
In Iowa, a father in anguish pleads for empathy. Writing in Saturday's Des Moines Register, Ron Tibbetts asked pundits and politicians not to appropriate Molly's soul in advancing views she believed were profoundly racist. The act grievously extends the crime that stole Molly from her family. The 20-year-old University of Iowa student's body was found in a cornfield on August 21st, about a month after she disappeared while jogging. Christian Bahena Rivera, a Mexican who was living in America illegally, was charged with her murder. The Tibbetts loss had already become a rallying cry for anti-immigration supporters, even after the family asked that their tragedy be kept out of the political debate. Tibbetts' column was published only one day after Donald Trump Jr. wrote in the same paper that her murder never would have happened if we policed our southern border, and that Democrats' response to Molly's death was heartless and despicable. And one day after police charged Rivera with her murder, President Trump raised the case at a West Virginia rally.
You saw what happened to that incredible, beautiful young woman. Should have never happened. Illegally in our country.
The White House also tweeting an emotional video of relatives of people killed by illegal immigrants.
This man wasn't supposed to be here.
In his column, Tibbetts saying his family stands by Iowa's Hispanic community, even offering them a heartfelt apology. In this town, Molly's death is a private loss.
This isn't about him, and it's not about all the other issues that are getting attached to it. This is about Molly and the community and the people around here.
Not a way to score political points. Matt Bradley, NBC News.
An embattled archbishop who's facing calls to resign was confronted today while giving remarks at a church in Washington. It's the latest fallout following that devastating grand jury report out of Pennsylvania detailing nearly 7 decades of child sex abuse allegations against priests in that state. NBC's Keir Simmons has more.
A stunning moment at Sunday Mass. Washington's Catholic Archbishop, Cardinal Donald Wuerl, heckled by a parishioner. Just 3 weeks after a Pennsylvania grand jury report accused 300 priests over 70 years of abusing more than 1,000 child victims. Cardinal Wuerl facing calls to resign for allegedly failing to deal with the scandal when Bishop of Pittsburgh, an accusation he denies. In today's sermon, well received by some, he asked
for forgiveness in any of my errors of judgment, for any of my inadequacies.
In Rome this morning, Pope Francis remains silent on the scandal rocking the church. He too accused, without evidence, of a cover-up by his former ambassador to the US, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, who's called for the Pope to resign. Instead, Pope Francis stuck to today's gospel lesson, urging the faithful to be vigilant against vanity, greed and hypocrisy. Catholic infighting, reformers against conservatives, and anger over sex abuse spilling over once again, sending another shockwave through the Catholic community. Keir Simmons, NBC News, London.
An update now on a bizarre story that has puzzled American officials for over a year now. A new report today suggests those strange symptoms suffered by dozens of U.S. diplomats in Cuba and China may have been caused by microwave beams used as weapons. The story first reported by the New York Times. A group of scientists say microwaves may have caused brain damage, resulting in the victims hearing painfully loud noises. The State Department says it is still investigating. Now to some encouraging news. In the ongoing opioid crisis, one of the side effects of substance abuse by parents is that children are often neglected and end up dropping out of school. West Virginia, hit hard by the crisis, has the nation's lowest percentage of students going on to some kind of higher education. Only 20% do. But an ambitious young man is the face of a program that's giving young people a path. We spent time in Boone County, West Virginia, as part of our continuing series, One Nation Overdosed. Every year, new high school graduates in Boone County, West Virginia visit elementary schools to inspire kids to aim high.
Went to school at Madison Elementary.
College senior Ike Brooks is one of the biggest success stories here, thanks to a program he started in 7th grade called Gear Up that helps kids go on to higher education.
There's an entire world that is just waiting to be explored, and they're waiting for people like you.
So you grew up right here. Ike's self-confidence is hard-earned from too many life lessons. When you were a kid, would you bring people by the house?
No. No one ever really saw where I lived. I didn't want them to really see what was going on.
You were worried they might see your mom.
I was terrified that they would see Mom nodding off.
I like it because they put all that stuff on it.
Ike's mom, Angela Hager, started taking Xanax when Ike was in kindergarten. Once a month, she'd pick up a prescription. You were dealing them also?
Yeah, getting them from the doctor and selling them.
Ike's dad was in prison and died of an overdose. His babysitter overdosed in front of him. His rebellion was being a straight-A student.
Ike, he's a trooper. That child is definitely, he's meant to do something great. He's destined for greatness because he has crawled through a river of shit and come out smelling like a rose.
You just tell yourself, you know, I'm going to get to college, and that's my way out.
We need to have educated people here with new ideas and to bring life back into these mountains.
It's why Ike's old high school holds a celebration to recognize seniors committing to some kind of higher education.
We want to make sure that we showcase the academic excellence of our students.
And why the Gear Up program has tracked more than 10,000 students like Ike from 7th grade on in the 10 poorest counties of West Virginia, offering SAT prep and helping them find scholarships.
If you're in my group.
And now Ike is paying it forward this summer, working with students at a Gear Up camp at Marshall University.
These become a lesson in 3D printing.
They learn about jobs of the future, build leadership skills, and get a touch of campus life.
If you're a first-generation college student, raise your hand.
And maybe most important, the chance to hear from someone whose struggles might be a lot like theirs.
Getting to college has changed my life, but once I get that degree, no one can ever take that away from me.
Ike hopes to graduate next year and go on to law school.
I plan to always stay in West Virginia, and I feel that this state has given so much to me. I have to give that back.
And tomorrow we'll continue our series from Boone County, West Virginia, with the story of a remarkable but tough judge helping those struggling with substance abuse turn their lives around. Moving overseas now, these days traveling by plane, going through multiple layers of security, it's a hassle for all of us. Now imagine instead of a few hours at the airport, you were stuck there for 6 months. That's what's happening to one man from Syria. NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer has his story and his desperate plea for help.
It is the longest layover.
I'm trying to have a solutions, but I'm a Syrian.
Hassan Alcantar has been stuck in the transit zone at Kuala Lumpur's airport for more than 150 days now and counting. Living in limbo, unable to leave and nowhere to go.
I just want a safe, clean place, a place where I can be legal.
He was working in the Persian Gulf when Syrian authorities wouldn't renew his passport because he didn't do his military service in the Syrian army. His passport now temporary, and few countries will allow Syrians to enter without a visa. He ended up in Malaysia but wasn't allowed to work. An attempt to get to Ecuador failed. Cambodia deported him.
They sent me back the same day, the same plane. And I'm stuck here since then.
Hassan turned to YouTube and Twitter to share his ordeal.
But you don't have a choice.
When we visited, he showed us around.
This is my walking area, here where I keep my stuff.
You must do a lot of people watching.
Thousands of them, yes. But I keep thinking to imagine their stories.
Hassan knows he's compared to that 2004 Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal.
You ever feel like you're just living in an airport?
So he's tweeting the actor and hashtagging his real-life sequel.
Tomorrow's a new day.
8 agencies in the Malaysian government say they're trying to help.
It's a humanitarian case. It's not a political one.
There's even a petition in Canada to take him in as a refugee. For now, all he can do is wait.
Wish me luck.
For the doors to his future to finally open. Janice Mackey-Frayer, NBC News, Kuala Lumpur.
Still ahead tonight, the speed of Amazon, all those quick deliveries, but are they taking a toll on workers? Also building confidence through tennis. Some young athletes learn skills to last a lifetime. Amazon is known for quickly delivering what you want when you want it. That lightning-fast efficiency has made founder Jeff Bezos the richest man in the world. But now some Amazon employees are coming forward to NBC News saying the company prioritizes speed over worker safety. Business correspondent Jolene Kent has more.
Inside this fulfillment center outside Dallas, the focus is Amazon's signature speed, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. But Amazon employee Vicki Shannon Allen says Amazon's work demands are ruining her life.
It's been the ultimate nightmare.
Allen says she processed an average of 600 items an hour on the job here at a broken workstation that injured her back.
It felt like somebody stabbed me in the back and drug a knife all the way down.
Allen showed us documents and claims Amazon attempted to minimize her injury by not sending her to a doctor for weeks and not paying her during the dispute over her workers' compensation claim. Now she's homeless, sleeping in her car, often in the Amazon parking lot.
So you're sleeping right in here?
Allen is not alone. This year, Amazon, which has over 175 fulfillment centers around the world and more than 500,000 employees, was ranked one of the 12 worst companies to work for by the National Council for Occupational Safety and Health, a nonprofit that advocates for worker health and safety. As by far the largest online retailer for Americans, Amazon's record is difficult to compare to other major brands. This summer, people protested against Amazon worker conditions and wages in New Jersey and Spain. In Minnesota, 3 current and former Amazon employees spoke out to NBC News, alleging injuries on the job. Allen says Amazon offered to pay her $3,500 if she agreed not to discuss her experience and to absolve the company of any responsibility.
It's not worth me giving up my First Amendment right to be able to speak about what's happened to me at Amazon.
Vicki Shannon Allen is one of about 2,500 employees that work at this fulfillment center. When we put these allegations to Amazon, they opened their doors so we could have a look.
Amazon staff escorted us through the facility and calls Allen's situation unfortunate. It's offered her medical treatment and more recently spending money, along with a new, less physically demanding job.
The workstation that she was working on did have a component missing that day. And when she found it and reported it, we immediately fixed it.
Senior Vice President Dave Clark oversees fulfillment center operations worldwide.
We have hundreds of thousands of employees working tens of millions of hours every year across the network. And the overwhelming majority of those are safe hours where people come in, do great work for customers, and go home safely.
But the former head of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, during the Obama administration, strongly disagrees. Dr. David Michaels issued this warning letter to Amazon in 2016, critical of the in-house service providing medical care at fulfillment centers. Letters like these are rare, and other companies have received them.
In fact, we actually issued a letter of warning to Amazon because they really made some terrible mistakes, and people who were very seriously hurt were treated very poorly.
Amazon responded saying it disagrees with OSHA's conclusions and recommended changes. Allen says she has not accepted a new position because her back injury still keeps her off the job on doctor's orders. Amazon continues to provide her with medical treatment, but she now raises money on her GoFundMe page to pay for an occasional night at a motel.
What should a customer know out there when they're clicking to buy something to have it delivered to their home?
They should know that that's our blood, sweat, and tears that's going into that. That's my back. That's somebody else's arm. That's somebody's life.
Jolene Kent, NBC News, Hazlet, Texas.
We're back in a moment. Authorities looking into that deadly head-on collision between a semi-truck and a Greyhound bus in New Mexico have recovered some key evidence. Investigators say they now have the truck's recorders and both of its front tires are being analyzed. Officials believe the tractor-trailer blew out a tire and veered across a median before it collided with that bus. Don't blink or you might miss this amazing play from college football yesterday. It's a blocked punt returned for a touchdown in 2 seconds. Here it is again. Virginia Military Institute's punter just barely gets his kickoff. It goes straight into the hands of a Toledo defensive player who just keeps right on going, right into the end zone for a touchdown. When we come back, serving up smiles, how a group of young tennis players and their buddies are inspiring America. In Arthur Ashe Stadium, a group of players stole the show from the professionals. They couldn't believe their luck when they got the chance of a lifetime, and they are inspiring America. They knew they were coming to New York this weekend, but the fact that they'd be playing in Arthur Ashe Stadium, the center of attention, that was a surprise.
That's it. Good try. Good try.
And boy, did they love it.
Yes! Good work, good work, good work.
For 10 years now, Buddy Up Tennis has been pairing athletes with Down syndrome with a buddy to help guide them through practice. Once a week, they hit the courts, first focusing on fitness, then tennis skills. What does it feel like when you go out on the court?
I'm stronger and passionate about me, and I know everybody.
When he was 3, Will Gibson would tag along for his big brother's lessons. His mom, Beth, wanted Will to be able to pick up a racket, too.
We just Googled and tried to see what was out there, and really there wasn't anything out there for adaptive tennis. So we created it.
And other cities wanted it too. Now they have 21 chapters in 10 states. Taylor Ruby is Will's buddy.
Nice, Will.
She's really nice and she's kind.
They impact me way more than I think I actually impact them. They're just so kind and caring.
While companionship is key, the skills built here are designed to last long after the match is over. This isn't just about tennis, is it?
Absolutely not. This is so much more. They're improving their life skills through confidence. They're gaining emotional support. They're building friendships.
They're part of a team.
Just a little
Playing
bit. Ready,
on
bounce.
tennis's
Go get
biggest
step.
stage.
We want to show them that body of tennis can do what other tennis players can do.
A program serving up smiles and built with love. Those kids definitely inspired me out on the court. That is NBC Nightly News for this Sunday night. I'm Kate Snow. For all of us at NBC News, have a great night.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.